They say that in the beginning of all existence, there were only the heaven and the earth, and their union generated the other gods and goddesses. The descendants of the primordial gods, Uranus, which means heaven, and Gaia or Terra, which means earth, were called Titans, who were giant deities with incredible strength and ruled during the legendary Golden Age. A few words that perhaps need explanation are descendant. It means proceeding from an ancestor or source. Primordial, which means existing from the beginning of time, very, very ancient, as were the Uranus and the Gaia. Deity, which refers to a god or goddess. And incredible. We have discussed the root word cred. It means to believe, and incredible means extremely good, great, or large, such that it is beyond belief. So, the first generation of gods were called the Titans. They were enormous and were known to possess extraordinary strength, and according to mythology, they overthrew their own parents and ruled for several ages during an era known as the Golden Age. True to the characteristics of a Titan, Titanic is a very popular word in English, which means something of enormous size or power. In fact, there is a movie by the same name based on the passenger ship which was built on an unprecedented scale in its times, but sank in the maiden voyage that it undertook over a century ago. The Golden Age and the rule of the Titans came to an end with a fierce war between the gods, the Titans and the Olympians, many of whom were offsprings of the Titans only, and this war was referred to as Titanomachy. It was a prolonged struggle for supremacy between the gods, where the Olympians overthrew the Titans and confined them to the pit of Tartarus, which was a deep abyss in the underworld that served as a prison for the Titans. And so, the 12 Olympians formed the first Greek pantheon and became the ruling powers. Their abode was Mount Olympus, from which their name is derived. Though the Olympic Games is the most common usage of anything related to Mount Olympus, there is even a proper word in English called Olympian, which means majestic in manner, as you expect from a god or goddess. Yet another meaning is superior to mundane affairs. Now, mundane means dull and ordinary, of a routine nature, as you expect from the mortals, unlike gods. And the third meaning is surpassing all others in scope and effect. Typical phrases in which the word Olympian is used are Olympian detachment, Olympian loftiness, and Olympian arrogance. I believe this intro on the Titans and the Olympians would be perfectly complemented by a short mythological story of the Titan god Saturn or Chronus to understand the background. So here it goes. Chronus or Chronus was the Titan god of time and the ages and the son of Uranus, Father Heaven, and Gaia, Mother Earth. He ruled the cosmos during the so-called Golden Age after castrating and deposing his father Uranus. Well, cosmos means the universe, and to depose means to remove someone from a powerful position, as Saturn did to his father. In fear of a prophecy that he would in turn be overthrown by his own son, Chronus swallowed each of his children as soon as they were born. Rhea, his wife, however, managed to save the youngest, Zeus, by hiding him away on the island of Crete and fed Chronos a stone wrapped in clothes of an infant. Zeus grew up and forced Chronos to disgorge the swallowed offspring. Zeus further led the Olympians in a 10-year war against the Titans before defeating and incarcerating them into the pit of Tartarus. Disgorge means to empty the contents of the stomach through the mouth to let out or release something. And incarcerating might be a tricky word. It means to put someone in prison. Tartarus was an underground prison, as mentioned earlier. After a few ages, Zeus released Chronos and his brothers from this prison and made the old Titan the king of the Elysian Islands, which was the abode of the blessed after death. Now, abode simply means home or the place where someone lives. Now, let's discuss some other words that are directly based on Saturn or Cronus. Since Cronus was the ruler god of time and the ages, chrono became a very popular root word in English, meaning time, and there are several English words such as chronological which have been derived from the same. Not only this, his Greek name Saturn was the reason for naming Saturday, which is the sixth day of the week. In case you got confused by two names for the same god, let me tell you that since Romans and Greeks share a same history, most of the gods and goddesses will have two names or appellations, one Roman and the another Greek. In fact, we even have an Indian version of the same god popularly known as Shani Dev. He is a particularly feared god, and perhaps this likeness would help you remember the next phrase, which is Saturnine character or disposition. It refers to a person of a heavy, grave, gloomy or surly. Surly means unfriendly and rude nature. And the last word is Elysium. Now, since Zeus gifted Saturn the Elysian Islands eventually, Elysium refers to paradise or the abode of the blessed after death.